This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the Grand Bahama Utility Company could soon employ new technology in its meter reading program. It will be a major upgrade to what is currently being offered and is projected to provide benefits not just for the company, but for thousands of consumers here on Grand Bahama. Sabrina Brown has the details.
The Grand Bahama Utility Company currently uses a manual meter reading system for water billing, but according to Operations Manager Ezekiel Hall, the company is now in the process of rolling out an automatic meter reading system.
Automatic meter reading system will move from a walk-by to a drive-by application.
Hall says under the manual system, meter readers are often faced with challenges.
We have, through the environmental department and sanitation department, the removal of debris from premises, and residents are permitted to stockpile tree trimmings, clippings, just on the boundary of their properties. And oftentimes they stockpile these debris, these tree trimmings, over meters, right? That renders them inaccessible to the meter readers. Or during the meter reading route, they may encounter other obstructions. Maybe have vehicles parked over the meters.
But Hall says the AMR system will eliminate those challenges.
When you look at the amount of time it takes for a meter reader to physically walk, if you have weather concerns, inclement weather, it provides a hindrance to the progress and the timely reading of meters. With the automatic meter reading system, we can read meters. It's daytime, nighttime, rain or shine.
He says the new system will improve the overall operations.
It significantly reduces the amount of time and labor involved in reading meters. So there's some direct energy savings there. The cost of reducing or producing water bills is significantly reduced. And more importantly, the ability for the utility company to provide improved, enhanced customer service. So if a customer come in with concerns about the behavior pattern of the meter, the readings on the meter, we can access that meter in real time and make a real-time assessment as to what's going on with that meter.
The utility company is currently conducting a pilot study of the automatic meter reading in 2 areas in Freeport and Lucaya. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
The Ministry of Tourism clarifying its role in the launch of the prepaid taxi program. The initiative has been the subject of great controversy among union executives and some taxi drivers. But tourism leaders say this program, launched on Saturday, will translate into an improved transportation sector. Italia Hall has the details.
Grand Bahama's cruise sector is currently performing at a decrease of 7.59% over the same period last year, and this new prepaid taxi program was implemented to help drive the growth of the tourism industry. Director of Tourism for Grand Bahama, Betty Bethel, says the ministry is working along with the operators of the Grand Celebration to increase the number of passengers transported by taxis by some 40%.
It's a program designed to provide our guests with an upgraded experience. The whole idea is that our taxi drivers don't have a one-time opportunity with the guests. And we have started with about 38 volunteer professional drivers. And they have all participated in a certificate program. We've trained them so that they can deliver this new upgraded service.
The program is on a trial basis, and Bethel says meetings were held with executives of the Grand Bahama Taxi Union, management of the Grand Celebration, as well as other stakeholders to get consensus on the issue.
We also met with road traffic to make sure that this program was in accordance with the laws that govern transportation movement for guests. And they agreed with the program, and we've also consulted with the police. So we made sure that all of the necessary agencies were consulted.
The tourism executive notes that the program is to benefit visitors and taxi drivers, and that the Ministry of Tourism's involvement is a direct response to the taxi drivers who have said they are still struggling to make a living at the port.
When you're standing in line waiting for a job, there's no guarantee that you'll get a job, but the prepaid program guarantees that you will get a job. This is a trial program. If it doesn't work, we go back to the drawing board. If it works, then it's beneficial to everyone concerned. But we invite the taxi union to be a partner and to participate and to help us tweak this trial program so that it is to their benefit.
It doesn't matter whether a billionaire or a guy who's saved up his life savings to make a trip to the Bahamas comes here, they should be afforded the same level of service. And that's all this particular program is about, raising the level of service.
These tourism leaders say the Ministry of Tourism will continue to seek out unique ways to elevate the tourism product on Grand Bahama. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Natalia Hall.
Well, the debate continues over the government's plan to ban wrecked and other vehicles more than 10 years old. While environmental and safety issues have been cited as the two reasons for the decision, local activists are calling for greater clarity on this issue. They charge that when it comes to importing vehicles, the process isn't clear-cut. Megan Shepard explains.
The fight continues for clarification and a meeting with the nation's leader regarding the ban on wrecked vehicles and vehicles over 10 years old. Activist and radio talk show host Kendall Kobrick says that he's been in the industry for almost 35 years and claims that the system of creating titles for vehicles was established to protect insurance companies in the United States.
This was established for the insurance purposes only, to protect them from fraud in the United States of America. When a vehicle is damaged here in the Bahamas, we repair them. I've had vehicles in my shop totaling at $20,000 to repair. As you look around you, you have vehicles that have been here licensed already in the Bahamas, worse than some of the vehicles coming in from the United States of America. They have to be repaired here. Who's to say that they are junk title? And if they came here with a clear title, no matter what happens to it, they are still clear in their title.
Activist Troy Garvey believes the ban on vehicles over 10 years old is not financially feasible for the average Bahamian.
A rich persons in this country could get into the bank. Even some people who are working, even in the government industry, cannot go to the bank and afford a $25,000, $30,000 car. And it is even not feasible to push that on the people, because when you go to the bank for a car, that's debt.
Kobrick noting the extreme physical difference between vehicles that have been deemed clean and those that will be banned from entering the country.
The vehicle that you're looking at has 2 airbags missing, but it is claimed non-rebuildable. This cannot enter the Bahamas. 2 airbags missing only means that the insurance company has paid the individual that owned the vehicle the economic value of the car, so they deemed it non-repairable or certificate of destruction. This vehicle basically says the same thing, with minimal damages to the left front end of the vehicle, cannot come into the country because it has a certificate of destruction. And I think that the government needs to put an agency together and own this industry where they inspect the cars and inspect everything that comes into this country rather than leaving it up to a foreign entity. As you can see, this vehicle is total. There's no body man, no mechanic shop, nowhere in the world that can repair this vehicle. But yet it has a clear title vehicle. This vehicle is burnt to a crisp inside and out. But this vehicle, because of the type of title that it has, can now enter the Bahamas.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
In other news, police on Grand Bahama investigating a shooting incident that has left a Freeport man dead. Sabrina Brown has the details.
Inspector Teresita Pinder says police received reports of a shooting in the Baz Lane and Murchison Drive area shortly after 9 p.m. Tuesday night.
Uniform and plainclothes officers responded, and upon arrival here, they met a male wearing a singlet, white singlet, long jean pants, with multiple gunshot wounds about the body. EMS responded quite quickly, and he was transported to the Ram Memorial Hospital.
Pinder says the victim, who was a resident of Baz Lane, died shortly after 3 Wednesday morning. While Pinder says there is no known motive for the fatal shooting, police are following significant leads.
What we have learned so far is that another male was said to have, was the culprit who may have accosted the victim while here in this area. At this point in time, we are still doing our preliminary inquiries into this matter. This matter should come to a close shortly. I'm quite sure of it. With the officers that we have working here, and the persons in charge of the Central Detective Unit, and officers with the scenes of crime officers, we'll bring this matter to a close.
However, Inspector Pinder is appealing to anyone with information to come forward.
As you well know, in this area, persons are always up and about, and I'm quite sure persons have enough information that we may need to bring this matter to a close. So at this time, we are appealing to the general public for anyone with any information to come forth and assist the police in solving this matter. And we've known always in the past that Grand Bahamians as a whole has always been forthcoming and helpful to police when it comes to solving these type matters. And we expect nothing less at this time.
This latest incident pushes the murder count on Grand Bahama to 6 for the year. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Sabrina. Meantime, police in Grand Bahama are investigating an armed robbery in the Holmes Rock area. A male resident reported that while at his home, he was accosted by 3 men, all wearing masks, dressed in dark clothing and brandishing a handgun and a shotgun, and they demanded cash. The resident was reportedly robbed of cash, cell phones, and his Chevy Silverado truck, which was later discovered by police in the Hepburn town area. Police are actively investigating and are appealing to anyone with any information to contact 350-3107-12, 911-919, or the nearest police station. Stay with us, the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Marcos City Member of Parliament Gregory Moss has officially resigned from the governing Progressive Liberal Party. While Moss has been a constant critic of the governing party, of which he was a part of, some still believe his resignation may have caught many off guard. Moss is expected to serve as an independent member of Parliament. Tonight, local businessman Michael Edwards, who once contested the Marcos City constituency as an independent, is weighing in on the recent turn of events.
You cannot stay in an organization and everything your party or the government that you happen to be a part of seek to bring forth, you constantly tear it apart and criticize it. It does not make good political sense. If Gregory felt as if though he had that type of political gumption, for a better word, Gregory should have resigned from the parliament and caused there to be a by-election and then go on the ground and test his strength. But to be elected by a member of the PLP and then abandon the supporters of the PLP who elected him, I thought that was in very, very poor taste.
Now, Edwards says the writing is on the wall, and Moss's resignation is a clear indication that the political climate in this country is heating up.
I think Gregory have lost a golden opportunity. He is of course, he's an extremely bright young man, very articulate, but I think it came down more so to him having another agenda. If you were to notice, shortly after the election, there were some issues surrounding Gregory, and at that time I spoke with Gregory. I wished him well. But I think he has lost a golden opportunity. I thought Gregory had a bright future in politics. But now having exit from the PLP, I don't see how he can possibly recover from it, except joining up with the FNM or even the DNA. But to go and harbor an idea of forming a new political party, I really don't see him getting the traction to do that.
Switching gears now, she's known for her unique dance ministry. It is a concept that she says is done to the honor and the glory of God. Now, Dr. Ann Higgins has brought her music ministry to Grand Bahama this weekend. Kimberly Mullings has the details.
I changed dance partners.
She has been dancing for over 40 years, starting her career in El Casino in Freeport as a professional dancer before moving some 30 years ago to Nassau, where she became lead dancer at Crystal Palace. Dr. Ann Higgins became a Christian shortly after, and it was then the Caribbean Christian Dance Network was created.
It entails a group of professional dancers from all over the world and the Caribbean that has come together. And we host conferences every year. For the past 20 years, we had dancers coming from all over the world to Nassau.
This year, the dancers will travel to Grand Bahama for the annual conference. Last year, the conference attracted over 350 international dancers, thus boosting religious tourism.
The workshop teachers will be persons from right here in Grand Bahama, New York, California, and actually we have a group coming in from Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago. These are leaders that have networked, and these leaders will be responsible for bringing groups to Grand Bahama.
Native of Grand Bahama, Dr. Higgins is pleased to have the conference at home under the theme Rain.
R for restoration, A for abundance, I for inheritance, and N for newness. The word rain came as a result of the Lord speaking to me, saying, to bring water to the desolate place. And the Lord was saying to me, it's time to now bring restoration and the rain of his anointing in a place which is Freeport, Grand Bahama.
She is encouraging all to come out and support this form of worship.
Dance is an expression, and it is a language. When dance is used to demonstrate the presence of the Lord, then something happens. And when I say something happens, yokes are broken. Dance of the flesh is just pure entertainment.
Throughout the years, Higgins has learned the dance ministry is powerful.
When it's driven by the Spirit of God, it brings encouragement, enlightenment, and healing to people. I've seen people healed, delivered, set free, and a lot of people have experienced that atmosphere in the ministry.
The dance conference will take place this Wednesday through Sunday at the Grand Lucayan Resort. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
And now to our nightly feature, Ask the Doctor.
I'm Dr. Monique Pratt. Welcome. Angie from Freeport sent this question. I have a close friend who has very large and swollen legs for many years. She says she has lymphedema. What causes lymphedema and how is it treated? Your question is very interesting, Andrea, and thank you. Today I would like to discuss the lymphatic system, which will help you understand this disorder much better. The lymphatic system circulates protein-rich fluid called lymph, which is responsible for collecting bacteria and waste products. The lymph then carries this waste and bacteria to your lymph nodes via lymph vessels. These harmful substances are then filtered and then flushed out of your body in your lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are located throughout the body and actually run along all most blood vessels. So to answer your first question, Andrea, a disruption to the lymphatic system can interfere with its ability to drain fluid properly, resulting in excess fluid and swelling in parts of the body, usually an arm or a leg. If you or someone you know have very swollen arms or legs, please see a physician as soon as possible, as this can be the result of lymphedema or something more serious like a blood clot. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Stay with us. Sabrina Brown has a check on sports when we return.
Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. Sports Tonight dedicated to Michelle Dorsett over at the Commonwealth Union, celebrating a birthday tonight. The International Tennis Federation Development Officer for the Caribbean on Grand Bahama taking a look at possible talent on the island. Kimberly Mullings fills us in.
The ITF representative for the Caribbean, John Gouda, enjoys coming to the Bahamas, particularly Grand Bahama, given the impressive talent that's on the island.
There is always abundant talent, and Bahamas has a history of producing good tennis players. In Grand Bahama especially, there was quite some breeding ground of talent.
Kuda says the purpose of his trip to Grand Bahama is to allow the ITF to intensify the level of talent, but it starts with the tennis athletes and coaches.
95% the people in Grand Bahama itself and the players itself, because they have to work hard. For example, you give them the information today, and what they do with the information is important, so that next time I can go further, and the coaches here can feed off that.
One of the issues that the ITF rep noticed was the lack of conditioning of the athletes.
I gave them a lot of flexibility, coordination exercises, strength exercises to build it up and to give them an idea of how to go.
During his visit, Kuda made a special effort to address coaches, which Bahamas Olympic Committee Executive Duran Donaldson says is extremely important.
Coaches' education is important, that they're involved all on one page and, working together to have the kids out here also working and training together.
The duo visited Freeport Primary School, BMES, and Columbus Park and left impressed. They're looking forward to the next visit.
I spoke to some of the kids and I told them that, look, you can get a college scholarship with ease of hitting a yellow ball. Running up and down, hitting a yellow ball. Have okay grades, you listen to your teachers, you can go to college off this. So I'm not only looking for, say a Mark Knowles or Rodney Carey or Devin Mullings who, played out there close to the Tower High College tennis, but I'm looking for players to get benefits through the sport.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Total Sports.
Thanks, Kimberly. 18-year-old Nicholas Saunders celebrating with family, signing his letter to attend Jarvis Christian College this fall semester. Saunders was always an athletic child, but it was in 2009 when he discovered his skills in the sport of golf. Nicholas attended high school in Houston, Texas. It was there that his football coach helped him to secure the offer at Jarvis Christian.
I was always, I guess, the big hitter, as you can say, or like the strong one. And I started off on average, like driving the ball about 215, 230. And then as time went on and I started to, I guess get in the football and work out more, and the swing just came more smoother. And now my drives, I can drive on average about 325, 350.
Nicholas's mom, Georgina Saunders, says it was hard when her son left home to pursue his new talents, but she knew God was going to work it out for his good. She says it was all worth it, and she's grateful for his full scholarship. Meanwhile, Elder LaQuaz Williams says this is a story of how hard work, determination, and faith can and will pay off.
God has really been blessing him, and he moved on to football. I said, boy, that ain't what God sent you for. So when he called home and said, Mommy, I got a scholarship, I broke out into total praise because I knew it was only God.
Many people think, well, you need a lot of money. No, it isn't the money. God can make a way out of no way. And we see this right in this case here, whereby maybe if he had stayed here, the opportunity may not avail itself. But God has opened up a door for him, and to see him still being focused and determined. I mean, he just went away for a couple of days and come back with another accent. But however, we still love him, and we look forward to seeing all that God has to do in his life.
Nicholas plans to major in chemical engineering, and that's your sports tonight.